and support for the Australia-India relationship through dialogues, through events, through discussion, through research, through policy advocacy, and we didn't waste any time in pursuing any of that. I want to rewind 10 months. We hosted firstly, which was something I didn't think we would be doing, in February this year we hosted India's External Affairs Minister, the Honourable S.J. Shankar, here at the University of Melbourne. And of course he was here for the Quad Foreign Ministers meeting. And I know we've got next year the Quad Leaders meeting in Australia to look forward to. And then since then, I want to point out that there has actually been this year 9 Indian ministers visiting Australia. This is a record of having so much interest of India in Australia. 3 of those ministers were hosted by us here at the Institute, and it was a privilege to do that. Then, looking more at the state level of India's largest democracy in the world as it is, in April, we had the opportunity to host Minister PTR, who was the Finance Minister of Tamil Nadu, someone very passionate about gender equality, equality in education. Of course, then I sort of skedaddled over to India in April and with some of the team, and while I wasn't even here in the country, this institute hosted Minister Piyush Goyal, which was I was so proud of the effort of the team in managing that event so successfully. Sad to not be here at that moment, but that of course was with the then Minister for Trade, Dan Tehan, for the sort of, the announcement of the signing of the Economic and Cooperation Trade Agreement, or ECTA as it's known. Travelling across 5 different cities, meeting stakeholders and ministers and think tank leaders and industry leaders, researchers, IIT directors. That was some of the time that I spent with some of my team in India in April. Then that sort of culminated with attending the Raisina Dialogue, hosted by the Observer Research Foundation, one of the leading think tanks in India, and where I was asked to do the showstopper event of moderating 5 defence generals from the Quad countries plus France. We were sort of not quite still friends with France at that moment, so... And that included, of course, India's Chief of Naval Staff, Admiral Hari Kumar, who I then got to be part of his hosting in Canberra later this year when he came out as well. And of course, Australia's Chief of Defence, General Angus Campbell. And it really was quite a spectacular moment for the Institute to be, well, for me as part of the Institute, to be hosting those 5 generals talking about our Indo-Pacific region and peace and stability within it. Moving forward now a few months, and we arrived to a date so significant for so many Indians around the world, celebrating 75 years of India's independence. With support from the Victorian government here, the Institute hosted our gala dinner at the National Gallery of Victoria to celebrate that momentous Independence Day. And for those of you that were there, I know some of you here in the room were, I'm sure you would join me in saying that it was truly a beautiful, commemorative and festive evening, highlighting India's journey and its diversity, as well as the vibrant diaspora that we do have here in Victoria.